Welcome to CPC302. This is the final course of our painting year, and in this one we're going to take a look at figure painting and hopefully combine everything we've learned so far and what we're learning also in CPC301 into a final completed figure painting. Now again, the style for each of these assignments that we do is going to be up to you, dictated by the artists that you're studying and the type of paintings that you would like to do. So there's a little bit of wiggle room and variety that's open in this course, but we have, since we have a set amount of weeks and time with the model, we're going to approach this as somewhat of a continuation of CPC 202. Last we left off, we did a 2-session figure painting where you were able to select the method of approach. This term we're going to have a 3-session figure painting and then follow that up with a 7-session figure painting. So what we filmed for you in this term for the demonstrations is actually a more traditional monochromatic approach where I've executed a figure drawing first and a shadow map, which is not filmed because that's all part of the drawing year. And then from that drawing, I've transferred it to a toned gray canvas in which I've applied a little bit of an open grisaille underpainting, and then we essentially have window shaded it down, and we get some of the torso and some of the arm painted in. And given enough time, we would just continue on down with the painting until it's executed to completion. Now, keep in mind that along with those steps, it's also advisable to do a poster study of our subject, as well as potentially a color study of our subject to make sure we've captured a strong foundation of each of those while doing window shading, especially since we're working a little more one section at a time. Keep in mind you can also do the approach that we mentioned last term with the overall color block in. So this is a 2-session figure painting, and given enough time we would keep refining and building it up. So after 7 or 10 weeks we'd have something solid with a good amount of information and rendering out of that. Even if you're doing something like that, it's still a good idea to do a poster study or a color sketch ahead of time to ensure that we've captured those qualities correctly. The longer figure pose, I've gone a slightly different direction and supplied you with a video of more of how I approach my paintings, at least the large figurative ones with flowing fabric. So you'll get to see me actually from square one. I prepare the canvas. Well, I have canvas that's primed already, and I mount it to a board, and then from there we bring in the model. I do a color sketch of the model and set the pose and fine-tune the lighting, and then I bring the model back, and on the large canvas, which I've set markers for where I want everything placed, I then paint a open grisaille of the head, and then I put the color on top of that, and then I essentially paint down from there and utilize a variety of painting techniques working out from the center with no formal drawing in there. So I sometimes do that when I want to sort of play around a little more with the transparency and use the white of the canvas to add a little more intensity to the painting overall, so it becomes a higher key, more impressionistic painting. So that's just how I work for a small portion of my paintings. It's certainly not how you have to work, but at least you get to see the steps from the creation of the canvas all the way to the completion of the painting. And there's even some correction in there also that's a good idea to take some note of. So however you want to work, whether it be over many layers or more directly or somewhere in between, that's up to you. Again, we're going to follow a 3-week painting, so that's roughly 9 hours that you might have in here. If you're working at home, again, you want to do several 3-session paintings just to become familiar at it. The more starts you have, the stronger those starts will be. I think you'll get more out of it if you practice, for a few months of doing 3-session paintings and building it up that way. Working a small section, learning that refinement, and then from there go on to longer paintings. And that way you don't end up, after spending 5 or 6 weeks on something, realizing you have a critical error and having to completely scrap it. The more solid starts you have, the better, stronger finishes you'll have.